Hey, what's up guys, it's Oakley and we'll be back in Warhammer 2 Total War. This time it's going to be an online multiplayer battle against someone who's up on the leaderboards. This is teaching you how to be Denmark Kid. He's ranked 2 on the leaderboards, didn't know that going into this battle. So let's go over the army composition. I do want to cover his first and foremost because obviously being second on the leaderboards, he probably knows what he's doing. So I found that in this battle was a very interesting army composition, obviously playing as the High Elves here. So at his core, what he has is 4 of these lines of trace, backed up by 2 archers, no frills or anything about this, and on the flank 2 spearmen. So dirt cheap core, very cost-effective white lines, and just cheapish archers to push, pull, and this is a very nimble force. Not something that is super sturdy. Like if I were to come full force into this, I could probably plow through it, which makes you wonder, okay, what does he have? Well, all his money has been sunk into these dragon princes. So 2 are up on the flank here, and it is awesome with these kind of red skins on them. Holy crap, does that look beautiful. That looks freaking great. So we have 2 of them up on this flank, and then another pair over on the left flank, also deployed up in the forest, currently hidden from my view. So he goes into this build, I guess intentionally trying to hide what's going on, and he also has techless somewhere on the battlefield. Okay, it looks like he's going to be embedded over on this front with his force. So here's techless. He's going to have Net of Emmentalk and then a bunch of the other spells to go along with it. You'll see him popping these. So it's an interesting build. Strategically, you'll see how it plays out. What he's trying to do is just move this forward and try and zone you out. So the archers are going to be here, and they're just going to ping and choose targets. This is going to be held back. Meanwhile, what he's going to try and do is just bide his time and push the dragon princes around your flank and just wait. What he's going to do is slowly, methodically move forward, and then with those dragon princes, just hammer away at anything that can't counter large, and just get more and more value with those dragon princes, and then finally come in with the cleaving blow with these guys. So it's an interesting build, relies a lot on microing those dragon princes. So for me, what have I brought? Well, I brought a lot of kind of like fodder units. Up through the front, I have 2 of these Skaven slaves. I have 2 more Skaven slaves with spears in the back, and then I have kind of a core of these plague monks with a couple clan rats spread around them as well. So a lot of units. In the center, I have the Plague Claw Catapult and some Poison Wind Globadiers. So these guys are anti-large. Didn't know if he would be bringing, cav or dragons or something, so that's why I brought these guys. I also have a core here of 2 rat ogres backing up Lord Skrolk. So this is my mobile thing, meant to counter cavalry. Same thing with these guys. I mean, 2 spears in the back, plus an anti-large unit, plus some roving rat ogres. That should be enough to cover my back. The front is rather squishy, but that is why I brought Skaven slaves and whatnot. They're just supposed to soak up the enemy, and then once the enemy's tied in, I charge up with my plague monks. And also I'm kind of biding my time with this plague claw catapult. I want to get high value targets. On the right hand flank, what do I have? I have 1 of these death runners hidden on this side. I was expecting the High Elves to bring perhaps more archers and I could sneak these guys around, but what they're going to see in the meantime is a whole bunch of dragon princes coming against them, so I'm going to have to pull him back. Meanwhile, on this flank, I didn't know there were dragon princes either, so I have some more guys, Skaven slaves leading through the front, and it looks like over there in the distance, what they're going to see, or we're going to pass, kind of in the distance there are the dragon princes. He can't really see what I have in these woods as well, but I do have some death globe bombardiers, anti-infantry troops, as well as some death runners backing up an assassin. So the reason I brought the assassin plus these death runners is the death runners on either flank were supposed to circle around and try and hit his archers if I could. And then also having the assassin here with trophy heads, if I needed to pop that on a lord and do a lot of focus fire him, I have that capability. But meanwhile, I'm just going to be slowly moving up, and as I start to comprehend what's going on with my opponent's battle lines, I realize, okay, let's reform. Let's move some rat ogres to the right-hand side, and the center, I'm just going to bide my time and fire away at his white lines. If I can guard the flanks with just minimal troops, I'm pretty sure I can take his center, and I'm just going to try and buy as much time with my Plague Claw Catapult as possible. And if he wants to start firing away at my slaves with his archers, that's fine. That is what they're here for. They literally cost like 100 a piece. Meanwhile, I'm going to set off after his dragon princes. I'm going to catch them in not the ideal territory for them, so starting to do some damage. He's not quite sure at all what I have in the forest. Again, it's very hard to see what's happening in the forest here. I'm starting to do some pretty decent damage, but just as he gets into the clearing here and turns about, that's going to be my cue to get back into the forest. But at least I've been able to force his guys back, and I'm going to hold my center. Meanwhile, over here, the White Lions of Thrace are going to be taking a pounding. So what is happening here? Well, let's go ahead and analyze what my strategy going into this is. My build was not something that was necessarily built with a lot of anti-cavalry. I do have the ability to somewhat combat it with a couple Skaven Slave Spears, some anti-large, and Rat Ogres, which is everything I've pooled in the back. And then the center is just supposed to be something that is squishy enough to buy time for my Plague Claw, and then I can strike back with these Plague Monks. So seeing what my opponent brought, what is my strategy going to be? Well, I know I want to defend the flanks against the Dragon Princes. If I can keep those guys back, I'll be happy. And then after that, what I realize is, hey, he doesn't have any flying lords or anything like that, and his range is only consisting of these archers, so I have the range advantage. I'm going to make full use of that with my Plague Claw Catapult, bringing down White Lions to half strength, and next I'm going to target his archer blobs. And this is going to be much more valuable to me than him just shooting into clan rats and Skaven slaves. So that's an engagement I will easily take. And his objective is, well, he really wants to get around this flank, so I'm going to try and prevent him from doing that. And look at these big shots coming in, a couple of them missing. He's going to be hiding right behind this hill, which is going to be excellent for protecting him. And he's slowly going to try and zone me out, focusing fire on my fodder units, which again I said I didn't care too much about. On this flank, I'm pushing a lot with my Rat Ogres. Gonna try and zone him out. He's gonna go for a bit of a strike here, at least a feint with his Dragon Princes. And exactly that's what the Dragon Princes are meant to do in this build. I really like it, is he just screens them in front of the battle. If I don't have anything to counteract that, all he can do is he can try and, land a strike against these Skaven Slaves, retreat. Land a strike against the next unit, retreat. And just pick away at my forces. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to try and force an engagement on this side. My assassin was pushing forward, thinking of cleaving into his guys. I do pull up with some Death Globe Bombardiers. Going to get a couple strikes with my anti-infantry forces, but with these roving Dragon Princes, it's going to be pretty scary stuff. Meanwhile, Catapult's continuing to fire away, and now he's going to spot an opportunity to charge right into my Skaven Slaves and absolutely wreck them. The rest of the Dragon Princes have pulled around behind me, so I have to be a little bit wary about bringing these Rat Ogres. I really wanted to get them around the rear and hit his archers, but I figured that was too much of a risk at this point in time. I need to pull them back and guard against this rear attack. Meanwhile, my Plague Claw has reformed. It's going to be firing into the Dragon Princes in the rear. That is going to be its main target. In the center, he's getting a lot of these nice strikes against cheap units, Clan Rats, which I'm not too worried about, but I have to make him pay for these charges. If he can get in without taking much damage, then it's going to be super detrimental for me. Luckily, I do get in with some Skaven Slave Spears, charge into them. I'm going to chase after them, and take a look at this. I love the composition of this army. Dragon Prince is paired up with Teclis, because just as I'm trying to catch up with these guys, just as Death Globe Bombardiers are coming in to hit these anti-large forces, he's going to be able to pot Net of Ammontok, so keep an eye on this. So here comes this big surge against his forces. Oh, okay, I guess he didn't pop Net of Ammontok, but he will soon. But take a look at the back. These Dragon Ogres do not want to be taking volleys from my Plague Claw, so even though I've been taking what seems to be a pretty heavy beating, a lot of that damage has been done to very cheap slave units. I don't so much care about this 100 gold Skaven slave force, and he's wasting ammo, he's wasting some lives on it. Meanwhile, by sitting here, I'm able to get a lot of free kills against much more heavily armored, much more valuable units right there. So he's going to try and get a rear strike. You can see I don't have much in the way of defense against cavalry. I do have these Poison Wind Globadiers who can try and fire into these cavalry, and I have my Skaven Slave Spears. So that's enough to ward him off, as well as Lord Skrulk just zoning him here. And now he's going to start to get a little bit of like pestilence against them, charging in, trying to do some damage. And here he's going to get his Phoenix popping off. Teclis coming in, getting a pretty brutal strike on the Clan Rats. I prioritize moving these Poison Wind Globadiers out of the way. Meanwhile, in the center, he's been able to zone me out with the archers, and I'm just going to pull back to the forest without taking too much damage. So I'm just going to bide my time. Again, like I said, I'm getting most of my value over here with my Plague Claw Catapults, doing lots of damage to many of his Dragon Princes. He was trying to collapse in on my Rat Ogres. I'm just going to pull them back, and you can see my opponent is wary to engage. So this is a really nice Warhammer 2 dynamic that you don't see too often. This is, however, going to be a bit of a problem here. My Plague Claw Catapult was caught a little bit unawares. I should have pulled it back within safety, but now finally his archers are going to be within range. That's going to be a pretty big problem for me, because if he can get rid of my crew, then I'm at the mercy of his ranged units and Dragon Princes, and he can dictate the terms of battle. So I'm going to turn about to try and kind of preserve my numbers, and I'm going to have to throw some Clan Rats forward to try and suppress his guys. I'm also going to pull up with Lord Skrulk here to try and you know, spawn some Skaven. He's going to focus fire knowing how good this thing could be. And I have to be a little bit careful. I'm charging on this front, doing a feint against him. But my main problem here is look at these Dragon Princes. They could easily come in and charge and flatten these Clan Rats. And with that, he routs my Plague Claw. And here comes these guys on the flank. So that's why I'm moving up with some Skaven Slave Spears. And yeah, I'm threatening to do a charge out the flank. So I'm coming out. And this is where he can choose to kite. You can see he has archers positioned here. Dragon Princes threatening me as I push up. So I'm, at this point, you know, having no range, I kind of have to commit to an all-out assault. And so that's what I'm going to try and do, but I get a little bit of cold feet here. I know I should be charging in, but I'm not quite ready for it. I'm going to do a little bit of feint. And what I'm trying to do here is just push up with some Skaven Slave Spears. And what I want to do is just pop some guys. So he's going to get a charge with the Dragon Princes, really nail my spears, but Lord Skrulk is in here to do some damage. I'm going to charge in against them, and I have a big blob of Plague Monks, Deathclaw Bombardiers to try and hit his forces here. And so he's doing a lot of damage. Flock of Doom is really powerful. But over here I was able to force back his Dragon Princes. I'm getting into the center with Lord Skrulk, getting some disruption, starting to do some wither against these targets. And so this force is going to be forced back. Again, I don't have much anti-large, so he's just going to get these free charges. I probably should have, at this point, collapsed in with everything, tied down his forces, and just pulled up with my rat ogres to just beat back the Dragon Princes. But at this point, I have a problem in Warhammer with getting like cold feet, and so you can see me here maybe not doing the best of things, but what I'm doing is I'm kind of trading piecemeal. What I did is I pulled up with Lord Skrulk, I summoned some Clan Rats, and they're going to be just chasing off his archers, and I'm just going to be taking on a couple of his white lines here, plus Lord Skrulk, and then I'm going to be trying to zone out his guys. So in my eyes, yeah, I should have charged in with the support of the Rat Ogres to countercharge his Dragon Princes and just committed to this fight. But instead, I'm going to do a little bit of my pussyfooting that is oftentimes my downfall. But the one thing that I do have in my favor is, hey, this Plague Claw Catapult isn't absolutely routed, so it should be able to come back here pretty soon. Clan Rats are chasing into his archers. We're starting to do a fair amount of damage, so I'm pretty happy about this. And his front lines are starting to waver. Over here, he did do a big strike against my Skaven Slaves, but I'm reinforced and feeling okay. Archer's down to half strength here, so pretty good stuff. You know, maybe I've lost a couple slaves here and there, and he looks like he's going to be winding up for another assault. But I think overall, if I can keep knocking out some of his archers, yeah, there you go. They're almost routing. I should be pretty good. But here comes a big strike with the Dragon Princes against my guys. I'm going to get some pretty good volleys with these Deathclaw Bombardiers, and then charge in against these Dragon Princes. So doing a fair amount of HP damage. He's going to start firing away with his archers into my Plague Monks who are unshielded, so this is pretty bad. And I'm going to fall back at this point to my Plague Claw, seeing that what my decision making is at this point is, yeah, I pussyfooted in the beginning, but I knocked out one of his archer units, so that's pretty good for me. He's down to one archer unit, and I have my Plague Claw back online. So what I'm thinking is, hey, if I can button up my defenses, get this Plague Claw back online, then I can start firing away and start to even up the odds. Yes, I've taken a fair amount of damage, but this Plague Claw can easily help me even the odds. I've got some Skaven Slave Spear in the back. He's going to commit to a charge through here. Looks like he has an attack move past my guy, so not getting a clean strike. A little bit of a micro-lapse. I'm going to charge in and get some anti-large. So this is devastating his Dragon Princess. So that's why I'm thinking at this point, hey, I can button up with this nice little defense here. Skaven Slaves with spears, anti-large, firing into him. Should be pretty good. I also have an assassin who can charge in here. Lord Skrulk is prancing around, and he's going to try and get a strike against these guys. They're charging into me, trying to bait some blows, but Lord Skrulk is going to get into them, and there you go. Boom, that is the Plague Claw. That's what I'm talking about. Look at this, knocked out 5 or 6 riders, and that's exactly the trade that I need. Yeah, maybe he's gobbling a Death Runner, but I'm gobbling up some Dragon Princes. So in my eyes, this is a pretty good deal that I've got going on. The archers are going to be a problem. One of them still left standing. I really need to take him out, so that's why I'm thinking of pulling in with my assassin. And I do have some pursuing Rat Ogres. This could be a problem here. So I'm going to pull them out. I see circling spears and other forces. I'm going to pull back in this case. And yeah, short my guys. Some routing Skaven Slave Spears should come back, so I need to pull them back into the battle. But you can see my opponent is a bit dilly-dallying. He's not quite sure how to engage this. I've been doing a bit of kiting, and yeah, you can see it's a bit of pussyfooting. But to me, it's pretty good, and I even have some more Clan Rats and reinforcements on the flank to charge in. He's going to start to focus fire now that he has both archers back against my Plague Monks. That's pretty devastating to me. I'm going to fire into his archers, and what I'm going to do is pull up with Lord Skrulk, and if I can summon another one of these clan rats on top of him, I should be okay. Meanwhile, in the rear, he's going to charge against these Skaven Slave Spears. I have more guys to engage against them, keep him tied down, and in the center, I was hoping to charge in here and do some damage against his guys, but take a look at this. He's going to do a 1-2 punch, get a net of Ammontok, plus that ridiculous spell right there. That is an amazing combination. So much value here. And then he's also going to pop Flock of Doom. So that single-handedly did so much damage to me. So my opponent really quick on the micro game there, and that is an amazing combination. You can see how much utility. Seizing on that, the amount of damage he's done, he's going to charge in, knowing that he has a little bit of superiority. I'm going to pop some clan rats here to intercept a bit of his dragon princes. He's quick on his micro, and he's going to wheel about. And now finally, he's going to have a free avenue against my Plague Claw Catapult. I'm getting some shots off against his guys, but he's finally going to get the target he's seeking. He's going to disengage from that. Rat Ogres are going to pursue, but this is an all-out mess. In the center, I'm going to charge into these guys with Plague Monks. Dragon Prince is trying to grow on the flank, but this is where I have Clan Rats to intercept, so we'll see how this goes. But in the rear, looks like his Dragon Princes are free, and with their high mass, they're just going to charge through my guys, and this is exactly what his build is meant for. Wait for the perfect opportunity, tie down your center, and just charge on all fronts with the Dragon Princes, hit everything instantaneously from the flanks, and it is so devastating. Yeah, my Rat Ogres can do okay against the Dragon Princes on this front, but on this flank, they're not doing super well. Ooh, as I say that, I do land a nice couple blows with the Plague Claw, so nice to see that this thing is still alive, but my center is completely collapsing. I'm going to try and raise a couple more Clan Rats in the mix to tie down his guys. It's doing okay. Balance bar is still somewhat even, but this is not looking good. Dragon Prince has pulled out of the engagement scot-free. You're going to charge into these white lines to tie them down. One is going to come in here. The other one's going to flank around to try and hit his guys in the back. Lord Skrulk is engaged in the center, fighting the good fight. And I'm going to try and perhaps go after Teclis. Over in the forest, we're getting a lot of action here. Dragon Prince is going to be withdrawing as it has some Skaven slaves and other clan rats tying down his guys. In the woods, I'm doing pretty well. So he's going to get out of there and rejoin in the center. And these Dragon Princes just have so much sustain. The assassin trying to chase after them, but not being able to catch up. And now finally, he's going to seize the prize here that is the Plague Claw Catapult. Let's go ahead and watch this. And yeah, they're going to charge in. So that was pretty freaking cool. So anyways, that is going to be pretty much the end for me. I am trying to chase after Teclis. Trophy Heads was popped and I was able to get a fair amount of damage on him, but not enough. Plague Claw is still heroically trying to fire into these Dragon Princes, but the end is nigh. My numbers are dropping rather precipitously. So yeah, definitely very well played on my opponent's part. I really like the mass build with these Dragon Princes. Really good. I hope to see more of that for the High Elves. Pretty hard to counter. I mean, if you see it coming, it would be pretty easy to counter. All you have to do is bring a couple more Skaven slaves with spears, more Rat Ogres, and maybe even a Warp Lightning Cannon to focus fire on those guys. So overall, my build perhaps just didn't have enough. Oh my god, Teclis getting so much value here. So yeah, my opponent has an awesome build. Obviously, if he's second on the leaderboard, he's been honing this. So definitely check out his build. Try and recreate it yourself. I think you'll get a lot of value out of it. And usually I've seen people not like Teclis so much, but I think the way my opponent used him was absolutely phenomenal. The net of Ammontok plus his fiery invocation or whatever it's called, the one that does like the flame strike, that is freaking powerful. Combo those two together, then Flock of Doom. And that was especially tuned against Skaven, high in numbers, and just getting Flock of Doom off, plus that Flame Strike can really devastate huge clusters of your forces, and then Potion of Choroi there that replenishes some of your health can be really beneficial. So that was all super cool. I think I could have played that a little bit better. There was that little moment in the middle of the fight where I lost my Plague Claw, and my opponent had his Dragon Princes in the back. What I should have done is just sacrifice 2 Skaven slaves with spears in the back to zone them out, just leave them as cannon fodder, and charge with everything down the center, and just save my Rat Ogres and Lord Skrulk against his Dragon Princes. The 2 that were still in the center could have handled those guys, and then the rest of the infantry just plow through the middle and knock out the enemy's center. It was really weak, and it was me pussyfooting around. I really need to get over that. It's one of the things that leads to a lot of my downfalls in multiplayer battles, but nonetheless, hope I can learn from it, and I hope it ended up being a pretty entertaining battle nonetheless. So let's look at some of the final stats here. So look at these kills: 205, 235, 145, and 127. So overall, really good. White Lions of Trace also doing really good work. For my own guys, obviously Skaven, Slaves, Clan Rats not trading well. Rat Ogre's doing pretty decently. Assassin with 27, pretty nice as well. Plague Claw Catapult doing the work it was intended to do. So overall, yeah, my build, I probably should have had I known, you know, it was Dragon Princes, trade out these Skaven Slaves for just a couple more spears and just mass those guys as big buffers to zone out the Dragon Princes, and the rest, I mean, man, use this to go for the throat, and then just constantly train your Plague Claw Catapult on these Dragon Princes. That should be its only objective. Maybe drop an Assassin if you know it's going to be heavy cavalry. The Assassin's good to, you know, pop trophy heads on Teclis, but Teclis on his mount is going to get away from a lot, so perhaps not the best one. Trade this out for either bring a, yeah, maybe a Lord, a Priest of Play, a Plague Priest, or whatever it's called. One of the ones that you can mount on a Screaming Bell or something like that would be much better for popping this infantry line. But anyways, that's it for the battle. Hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for more, and I hope to see my opponent in future battles, and I'll definitely try and emulate this build. See you in the next one. Peace out.